Picture this. You're on a long trip in the backseat of a car, watching a DVD on your little portable DVD player. You're relatively young, sailing through life without a care in the world, joyfully watching your favorite talking trains do their thing. Eventually, the last episode resolves and the final nameboard sequence plays. All is calm, all is quiet. For now. Unbeknownst to you, imminent danger is fast approaching. Every nameboard passing is one step closer to your undesirable fate. What happens next will undoubtedly change the course of your life forever. As the theme tune begins to wind down, a brief message from Sir Topham Hatt indicates that a music video will be coming shortly. Essentially, this is his final attempt to warn the viewers of what they are about to witness. His eyes are silently screaming, "Turn around! It's not worth it!" But your innocent, childlike brain does not pick up on this metaphoric intimation. It's just too late. Before anything can be done... Hey everyone, it's Dennis Duck. With Halloween coming up, I thought today would be an appropriate day to review a Thomas DVD that scared the life out of me as a kid. Judging by the title and the thumbnail, you're probably thinking, that's totally Thomas's Halloween adventures he's talking about. Ha 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 ha. No. What? Well, maybe it's Spills and Chills? That has some pretty scary episodes. Wrong again. The Thomas DVD that really terrified me was, drumroll please, Thomas and the Jet Engine. I know how weird that sounds, but trust me, I can explain. The way this video is going to work is I'm first going to talk about the history of the DVD, as well as my experience with it, and then we're going to actually watch it, reviewing each episode along the way. Without further delay, let's jump into this. For those of you who don't know, Thomas and the Jet Engine and Other Adventures was an American DVD released in July of 2004. It included 3 episodes from the 6th season, 3 from the 7th, and a specific song I will go into detail about later. Something important to take notice of is that during this time period, Head Entertainment was taking over from Ghislaine, which sort of explains why this DVD came so late. Why they released a Season 8 DVD before this one is beyond me, but I digress. Now, let's shift gears to why I disliked Thomas and the Jet Engine so much. You think it would be ridiculous to avoid an entire DVD just because of one music video, but you'd be surprised. I was literally too afraid to play it just because it might start up at Boo Boo Choo Choo. I'm not even kidding. For that reason, I never grew up watching Percy and the Haunted Mine, Harold and the Flying Horse, Bulgy Rides Again, etc. I knew they existed, I just never saw them because I never played the disc. But that's enough rambling. Let's actually watch it and see if Thomas and the Jet Engine is as terrifying as I remember. I seriously miss the classic series. And oh yeah, I wanted to point out, the US title is Thomas and the Jet Engine, while the UK title is just Thomas the Jet Engine. Honestly, I prefer the US title because it's not like Thomas is the Jet Engine. That would just be weird.
Gordon is a very proud steam engine. He's the fastest engine on the island of Sodor.
Don't we know it?
Speed isn't everything, said James smugly. But being reliable and useful is, said Thomas. You slow engines will never understand, snorted Gordon.
Classic series Gordon is the best Gordon.
Thomas likes making special deliveries for Sir Topham Hatt. It makes him feel special.
That line sounded so cringy.
Hurry up, huffed Thomas. This is a special.
Can you stop?
His hook knocked the switch, and the switch started the jet engine. Uh-oh, said Cranky. Before he could say anything else, the jet engine was rocketing Thomas up the track. Whoa, said Thomas.
Alec Baldwin's Season 6 narrations are known for being bad, but this episode is an exception.
Whoa, boy!
See what I mean?
Clear the lines. It's a runaway train.
Can we just talk about how impossible the situation is? First of all, what smart Alec decided to put jet fuel in this thing while it's being transported? Also, if Thomas is truly going 768 miles per hour, he would either have derailed or, quote, friction would have grounded his wheels to nothing, end quote. Yeah, I totally got that all from the wiki.
Want to race, Thomas? Beeped Birdie. Never mind. Hi, Gordon. Bye, Gordon.
This episode is a lot funnier than I remember.
At last, the jet engine ran out of fuel.
Am I the only one who thinks this shot looks weird? Maybe it's the use of CGI, I don't know.
He steamed gently back into Knapford Station.
So you mean he went all the way from the docks to Knapford without derailing or colliding with any other engines? For a railway with an extremely high accident rate, that's impressive.
You didn't notice the fastest engine on the island of Sodor, said Henry. Yes, I am the fastest, puffed Thomas. Percy felt a little sorry for Gordon.
But why? It's not like Gordon's image is affected by this or anything.
But he's still full of hot air, whistled James.
It's so weird seeing name boards from the first season directly after seeing an episode from the 6th.
In the summertime, the branch line station masters enjoy a friendly competition for the most beautiful station on the island of Sodor.
Didn't they already do an episode like this in Season 5? And that one was 10 times better?
One evening, Sir Topham Hatt came to the sheds. I want Percy to collect some flower bushes for Lower Tidmouth Station, he said.
Why is Sir Topham Hatt making Percy deliver flowers this late at night? His drivers probably want to go home.
Percy chuffed anxiously through the thickening fog. He doesn't like traveling to Maithwaite at night.
But doesn't he pull mail to stations like Maithwaite? You know, at night?
The line passes through a junction next to a spooky old quarry mine.
Is there really no other way to get to the station other than passing through this junction? I don't mention this because the junction is too spooky, but because the ground doesn't appear to be stable.
Bouncing buffers, cried Percy. His driver hadn't seen the old chimney sink into the ground.
Excuse me, but how? It was basically an earthquake, and you missed it?
It's the naughty gnomes, teased Donald. We fat men with big feet, they make strange things happen, said Douglas. It's legend. They steal your wheels and filch your funnels.
Yeah, I really wish Alec did Scottish voices for these two. I mean, a Scottish accent isn't very hard to do.
I want you to collect some freight cars from the abandoned mine.
Again? Why didn't Sir Topham Hatt wait until the gnomes arrived so he could send Percy to collect the flowers and the gnomes at the same time?
Spooky, stammered Percy. What was that? Shouted his driver.
So now you pay attention to your surroundings?
Double bouncing buffers, shrieked Percy.
It didn't sound like he shrieked. A shriek would be like,
double bouncing buffers!
It's the naughty gnomes, cried Percy. They like to cause trouble. It's legend. Nonsense, said Sir Topham Hatt. The old buildings are collapsing into empty mine shafts, that's all.
oh yeah, it's just a few measly buildings collapsing. Nothing worth my attention or anything.
Garden gnomes? To decorate Lower Tidmouth Station, Sir Topham Hatt said. They're not scary. Garden gnomes bring good luck.
Yeah, in like the 1840s.
Later that week, the station master thanked Percy. We wouldn't have won our competition without your garden gnomes, Percy.
Between you and me, I think you would have done well without them.
The engines on the island of Sodor look forward to Halloween.
How do they plan on putting that massive bonfire out?
They say that on Halloween, the ghost engine returns to the smelters looking for his lost whistle. Ooh, ooh. Ooh, spooky. You want to collect some scrap from the smelter's yard tonight. On Halloween? Don't worry, you will be back in time for the fireworks.
Sir Topham Hatt really enjoys tormenting his engines, doesn't he?
Percy isn't worried about missing the fireworks, teased Thomas. He's a scaredy engine. I am not called Percy, but he was a little.
I don't blame him, albeit I'd be more scared of a scorching bucket of molten steel landing on me than some shadows.
Thomas knew Percy was scared, so he teased him even more.
What a good friend you have there, Percy. Definitely best friend material.
What's that up there? Thomas squeaked. Is it a spook?
This is also why I avoided this DVD. I mean, just look at that.
When Thomas was by himself, every sound and every shadow was spooky.
He isn't wrong. The place does look pretty terrifying.
Thomas was so busy looking for ghosts, he didn't watch where he was going. The chains felt like ghost fingers.
So, how does he know what ghost fingers feel like?
Thomas wheeshed and set off an old steam whistle. The ghost whistle, said Thomas.
Wait. How though? How did the steam get into the whistle? I'm so confused!
And he raced away as fast as his wheels could carry him.
How come the manager didn't stop Thomas from leaving? The whole point of him staying was so that he could finish up the job, but Thomas hardly did anything in the extra 30 seconds he stayed.
It was naughty of Thomas to tease you, Percy, said Duck. He was only playing, said Percy. I wouldn't want him to be late for the fireworks. He's after me! I don't think you'll be late, said Duck.
Again, I really don't remember these episodes having their funny moments.
Duck was right. We all feel scared sometimes. And we all have to say sorry sometimes, said his friend. So come on, Thomas. We can watch the fireworks just as well from here. And he was right.
I actually really like this ending. Good job, Robin Kingsland.
Harold the helicopter is glad not to be a steam engine.
Oh gosh, I forgot. Since Season 7 is narrated by Michael Brandon in the US, this DVD is a hybrid of both his and Alec Baldwin's narrations. I'm actually okay with Brandon's narration since I heard them all the time growing up, but hearing them right after Baldwin's narrations? So jarring. This stock footage is killing me!
Percy was delivering deck chairs and decorations, tables and tea urns, and reminders. Don't forget to come to the vicar's party! Thanks for the invitation, called Harold.
I'm pretty sure he was talking to the people at the station, Harold. I don't think Percy would be inviting you from what appears to be over 50 feet away.
Harold was landing at his airfield to get more fuel when he saw Pegasus, the cart horse that lives close by. Pegasus was getting ready to give rides to children.
Looks like Trevor has some competition.
Harold was beginning to feel left out of the celebrations. He wished more than ever that he could help. Thomas puffed in with some passengers. "Where are you going next?" buzzed Harold. "To the vicar's party, of course. Everyone's going." "Pegasus is stuck in a ditch. If he doesn't get to the vicar's party, the children will be disappointed."
If history has told us anything, it's to never disappoint the children.
"Pegasus?" wondered Percy. "That's a funny name for a horse." "It's the name of a flying horse in a very old story," explained Sir Topham Hatt. flying horse? Exclaimed Percy. Horses can't fly.
Really? Because the mobile logo thinks otherwise.
What happened? He asked Thomas. We were loading the cart. Pegasus wandered off into the ditch. Silly horse. Now he's stuck.
What is it with animals running free on Sodor? There's been loose dogs, loose bulls, loose elephants. Do the people on Sodor just not know how to handle animals?
Soon, Harold's pilot had fitted Harold's sling under Pegasus. Then Harold gently lifted him into the air and carefully carried him across the fields.
Couldn't he have just lifted the horse out of the ditch instead of flying him all the way to the fair? The horse must be scared out of its mind right now.
The party was a big success, and the children had a wonderful time. Harold was happy. He'd stayed on duty and had fun at the party too.
Okay. Is there supposed to be a moral?
In the summertime, there is no better place to be than the island of Sodor. The engines are happy to show vacationers the wonderful
stock footage
to be seen. I need to find a way to carry more passengers, grumbled Sir Topham Hatt. We have more vacationers and fewer engines, said Emily. A double-decker problem, added Thomas.
That's an odd way to word it. It's almost as if Thomas wanted Sir Topham Hatt to go looking for Bulgy.
Good news, Bulgy. I'm putting you back on the road. Thank you, sir. I'll be the best bus ever.
What is up with that Bulgy voice? I wonder if the UK dub is any better.
Thank you, sir. I'll be the best boss ever.
I don't think so.
I'm being repaired. I'm going back on the road. I think you'll be helping the new farmer, said Emily. He needs to deliver his vegetables around the island.
Why would Emily think Bulgy would be carrying vegetables? Are Thomas and Emily's only purposes in this episode to propose peculiar ideas that end up causing a character to do something? You know, plot convenience?
When Bulgy returned to his field, the hens thought their old house looked splendid.
Why would he go back to the field after spending all that time and money trying to fix him up? Maybe that's where his driver lives?
But the hens missed their old home. One by one, they crept aboard.
Not only are they leaving Bulgy in this field, but his doors are unlocked and wide open. If anyone wanted to steal him, they easily could.
He was driving so smoothly that the hens didn't wake up.
Not one person used the luggage racks where the hens were sleeping, or at least bothered to look up?
Get out of my way! He overtook Trevor. Bulgy swerved. The hens woke up. The passengers panicked. And Bulgy's driver lost control. The hens were frightened.
And they started shedding feathers like crazy too.
They were very cross. This bus is full of hens, they complained. We shall tell Sir Topham Hatt. It's not my fault, sulked Bulgy.
It really isn't. It's his driver's fault. Most bus drivers usually check the seats before and after their route, so if Bulgy's driver actually did that, he probably would have seen the hens.
The farmer still needs help with his vegetables, said Emily. A vegetable bus? Hey, that's not such a bad idea.
It's a bizarre one, though. Especially since Bulgy showed hatred to the idea like 2.5 minutes ago.
Vegetables? I'm going to carry passengers. Bulgy likes carrying vegetables. They don't lay eggs. And they never complain.
Okay, that's pretty good.
The engines love working when the sun shines. One day, Thomas and Percy were helping Salty at the docks. But Salty was worried. It may be sunny now, matey, but there be a storm coming. There be a fierce storm on the way, Captain, peeped Percy. Salty knew they were making fun of him. He felt sad.
Am I the only one who thinks Salty is overreacting a bit? Thomas and Percy weren't really offending him, and Salty wasn't supposed to hear them anyway.
Later, Sir Topham Hatt arrived. I want you to fetch Fergus from the smelter's yard, he said. His driver doesn't know the line.
Why is Fergus at the smelter's yard to begin with? Is this episode supposed to tie in with Fergus breaks the rules?
Hello, are you happy to be here?
No! Those be dark clouds, matey, whistled Thomas. There'll be a fierce storm on the way, Captain, peeped Percy. Emily was cross. It's not nice to copy the way others speak. You hurt Salty's feelings.
No offense, but Emily is kind of a goody two-shoes in this episode, not gonna lie.
Fergus was waiting for Salty when he arrived at the smelters.
That's the smelters? It looks like the docks, which is confusing because that's where Salty just came from.
Salty was right about the storm. It was a fierce one. The ships at sea depend upon the lighthouse to keep them safely off the rocks.
I've always wondered this, but how did the crew members of the show make the boat rock? Did they have someone hold a boat and rock it manually off screen? That's some food for thought.
The lighthouse keeper was waiting for him. Our lighthouse lamp has gone out! Our generator is broken! Salty had an idea. Fergus has a flywheel. It could power the generator.
How convenient?
Hurry, shouted the lighthouse keeper. Fergus's flywheel was attached to the generator shaft.
This is actually a really creative idea.
Finally, the generator came back to life. The lighthouse beam shone across the stormy sea once more. Just in time! Hard to starboard, matey! Salty's idea had saved the day.
Well, Fergus was the one who did all the work, but okay.
We're sorry if we hurt your feelings, puffed Thomas. We were only copying you because we think you're grand. Then say no more, me hearties, replied Salty happily. Now they will all work together and have fun together, as good friends should.
Yay! Okay folks, time for the part of the video you've all been waiting for. Time to relive the trauma, the terror, the pain, the agony, the misery, and the frightfulness of Boo Boo Choo Choo. Just a reminder, viewer discretion is advised since there are some jump scares, so I recommend you proceed carefully or skip this part altogether. I don't want Karens attacking me in the comments like, "My child is having nightmares about owls now, you pathetic fool." Okay, time to witness the pinnacle of the Thomas and the Jet Engine and Other Adventures viewing experience. This right here is what petrified me as a kid. Now, you're either thinking A,
oh gosh, I can see how one might be terrified of this.
Or B,
This is what scared you.
it really isn't as appalling as I remember, and I kinda feel stupid trying to make an argument here, but if you were watching this as a kid and this came out of quite literally nowhere, you'd have nightmares. Jump scares do not belong in children's content. I think my main issue with the owl is that it doesn't really look like an owl, but more of some devilish bird monster. This looks like an owl, but this thing just looks evil. The way the eyes are animated to blink looks extremely uncanny and really unsettling. I kind of wonder where the location of the owl prop is today. Everyone is like, oh, where's the top hat prop? Or, oh, where's the Grampus prop? But no, that's all just a diversion. The principal matter should be to find the Boo Boo Choo Choo owl, so we can expunge it from existence by crushing it to pieces and macerate its stupid face and throw it off a cliff. Moving on, let's talk about the song itself. You might find this hard to believe, but I actually don't hate this song. It's not the best song ever, but it's definitely a classic. The music composition is brilliant and gives off the right amount of eeriness. However, I'm not 100% sure I agree with the message of the song. Listen to these lyrics.
What's that moving in the corner? What's that shadow on the wall?
What do you mean, it's nothing at all? The lights are spasmodically flashing and the breakdown train is mysteriously moving by itself. I wouldn't categorize that as nothing.
But I saw something in the corner. I saw that shadow on the wall. It's just your imagination. Look, it's just the wise old owl.
But it clearly isn't. I don't get why this song keeps attributing all the strange happenings to this one owl. Like, the owl isn't the one causing the lights to flicker, it isn't the one causing entire tree branches to fall, and it's certainly not the thing making shadows in the smelters. Or is it? Nah, I'm kidding. The way the song ends is also pretty unsettling, especially the way the owl winks. Love how Thomas is just chilling there afterwards, acting like nothing happened, while you're sitting there in a state of shock. Frankly, I'm surprised more people don't talk about this music video traumatizing them. When I first discovered the Thomas community years and years ago, I wholeheartedly thought this would be a topic people talked about, but strangely, it isn't. Am I the only one who was petrified by this? Is this just normal to everyone else? I guess we'll never know. But none of that matters now because the DVD is finally over. Ha! Joke's on you. We're actually not done yet. There's still fun and games to do. Fun and games is a misleading title since I wouldn't label them as fun, nor would I really call them games, but who cares. The first one we've got is Memory Madness. As you can most likely infer, the gist of the game is that you answer trivia that is so easy you don't even have to watch the DVD to pass.
Do you remember what I was carrying that caused me to move so fast?
Gee, I don't know. Not super exciting, and you don't even win anything, so it's kinda pointless. Same goes for the rest of these. Counting Corner is just, well, counting, and what came first is basically a rehash of Memory Madness, but with more steps. I guess the reason these games are so easy is so that you don't feel bad for losing, but that's kinda lame. What I do like though is the Thomas Gallery, which is basically a collection of Thomas ads. My personal favorite is the wooden railway one. It's really cute.
Time to go to the roundhouse. Now he has to go home.
And I love how they tried to advertise it.
Building with the Thomas Wooden Railway helps children develop physical, social, and cognitive skills, as well as a sense of pride and accomplishment.
Yeah, okay. I, for one, did not get my physical, social, or cognitive skills playing with wooden trains. And yeah, besides that, that's pretty much all this DVD has to offer. And now, folks, we are officially done. For real this time. So, what are my final thoughts? Well, looking back at the DVD, it's pretty decent. The episodes aren't all that, but none of them are particularly bad. For what it is, it's pretty unique, and I think that in of itself is enough validation to rewatch it. Wouldn't recommend it to young kids per se, but that's biased on my own experience, so I guess you can decide that for yourself. Before you go, I'd like to personally thank all you guys for supporting my channel. You guys totally rock. I've been extremely busy with school and cross-country recently, and this video took way longer than expected, but you guys really pushed me to produce my best work. Now that I've finally conquered my boo-boo choo-choo phobia, I guess my next biggest fear would be for Thomas to return for the 25th season with ugly, ridiculous 2D animation, but that would never happen, so we're all good. Stay safe, don't forget to subscribe, and have a happy Halloween.
Hey Dennis, I brought you some... Dennis?
The starcher gold and gold.
What's going on in here?
Thomas' wheels
Steelworks Ryan, I think Dennis is broken.
Oh yeah, he's been doing that lately. He's been spending hours making some sort of Sharon Miller DVD. I think the rhyming and extensive alternation might be too much for him.
You think? He looks like he might explode.
I don't think such an outcome would be possible. Poor Dennis. I didn't know it was possible to explode from too much Sharon Miller exposure.
This is why I'm never reviewing It's Great to Be an Engine.
Well, technically Season 8 is before the Miller era, but I guess that's not really important.
Oh, he had so much potential. Remember kids, bad things happen when you spend too much time watching Sharon Miller episodes.
If you or a loved one had been exposed to Sharon Miller content for longer than 20 minutes, seek help immediately.
Or else you could end up like Dennis.
Know when to stop. A message from the Miller Era Exposure Prevention Agency. Season's greetings. Dennis Duck here. Unless you don't believe in using calendars, or you're just an oblivious person in general, you'll probably be aware. It's December! And you know what that means? Time to bank off one of the most marketable holidays by making a video. Wholesome family entertainment. Yeah, I was debating on whether or not to make another DVD review if you guys didn't like the first one I made, but I think you liked it. So we're back at it again, but this time holiday edition. At first, I was like, hey, why don't I review my childhood favorite, Ultimate Christmas? You know, the one that's basically 2 other DVDs but cooler because it has 9 episodes and like a bajillion bonus features. But then I thought, as much as I love that DVD, there's not really much I have to say about it. I don't have any sort of interesting backstory or anything I can comment on other than it's just a really good DVD I recommend. Not a very interesting video. So then I decided to rethink my battle plan. What's a Christmas DVD I could review? And then it hit me. Guys! Oh my gosh! How did we forget? It's the 10-year anniversary of Merry Winter Wish! Merry Winter Wish was an American, Canadian, British, Australian, Chinese, Thai, Malaysian, Finnish, Danish, Norwegian, Swedish, Greek, and Mexican DVD featuring 4 pretty bad episodes from the 14th season. The DVD was first released October 12, 2010 in the US. Unlike the American version, the UK decided to add 2 season 15 episodes onto their DVD, so theirs didn't come out until October 31st, 2011.
Or at least it was supposed to. You see, the DVD Little Engine's Big Days Out,
known as Tales on the Tracks in the US,
was criticised in the UK in 2011 because of the episodes referring to Christmas as a winter holiday, and not by the term Christmas itself. You're probably wondering, what does this have to do with anything with Merry Winter Wish? Actually, it has everything to do with it, since the complaint was made right before Hit was about to release Merry Winter Wish, which used the term winter holiday.
And it's not like they only say winter holiday once or twice, no. They say it a lot. So much, in fact, I've taken the initiative to highlight every instance of winter holiday by blasting the audio every time it's said. You're welcome.
They decided to hold it back until 2012 so they could re-record all of the instances of winter holiday and replace it with Christmas holiday.
The article that explains the situation is rather fascinating. While it does seem incredibly stupid to hold back a DVD for an entire year just to re-record a few lines, I kind of see the complainer's point. Their whole argument is that it's ludicrous to protect children from the term Christmas, since it can be found pretty much everywhere, and also that Thomas was created by a vicar, and therefore should maintain its Christian values. It's kind of funny how this was never a problem here in the States. We really never thought twice about it. The UK must have been pretty sad that they had to wait 2 years to get these majestic season 14 episodes on DVD though.
Yeah, very sad indeed.
That's enough history. Let's watch it, guys. Guys? Oh well, their loss. Unlike the classic theme, the roll call is something I'm okay with skipping. Oh right, this DVD comes with those neat Mr. Perkins segments. Let's see how long it takes for him to notice us.
How about here? Oh, hello. Hello there.
There we go.
It's the winter holidays, you see, and there's lots of important things to get ready. I'm getting ready for something that's a very important part of the winter holiday. It's something that's very tall, very green, and it'll look very pretty when it's decorated with these. Can you think what it might be?
A cactus?
I'm going to collect it now. See you soon.
Yeah, sure. Definitely leave the keys in the door. That's a great idea.
Merry Winter Wish. It was the winter holidays on the island of Sodor. There were to be red lights, green lights, sparkling lights, and even snowflake lights.
Even snowflake lights? Bro, that's insane!
Thomas chuffed into Brendam docks. All the engines were huffing and puffing busily. Salty rolled over. He had some important news.
It is called the Star of Knapford. If an engine passes by it, they can make a wish. Then maybe, just maybe, their wish will come true.
Thomas, you must wait here. You will have a special to deliver.
Time to pull out the Miller era checklist. Special? Check. Thomas coming up with a stupid idea.
Bubbling boilers! I can't wait to tell my friends about my special!
Check. Thomas does said stupid thing exactly 3 times.
I'm sure Percy would like to make a wish. I'm sure Henry would like to make a wish. I'm sure James would like to make a wish.
Check.
He puffed quickly to follow Percy. At last, Thomas was side by side with Percy.
Fizzling fireboxes! Are you taking the Star to Knapford Station?
No, he's taking it to the smelters. But seriously, Percy, what type of a question is that?
Next, Thomas saw Henry chuffing cheerfully.
Oh God, it's Thomas with the Star of Knapford. He'll probably force me to stop and make a wish. I'm going to head out before he sees me. Bye, sucker.
I'm sure Henry would like to make a wish.
If he did, I think he would have followed you. I guess Thomas just loves rubbing his ego in everyone else's faces.
Oh, Thomas, you're lucky. Are you taking the Star to Knapford?
You too, Henry? Why is everyone such an idiot in these episodes?
James puffed quickly past.
I'm sure James would like to make a wish.
So Thomas raced after James. Then there was trouble. Thomas's flatbed jiggled and joggled.
Joggled? I'm gonna check that. Huh, guess it is legit.
The Star of Knapford flew high into the sky, then crashed with a crunch and a crack.
The star is broken, and it's all my fault.
Thomas feeling remorse for his actions? Check.
Maybe, just maybe, my wish will come true.
Oh my gosh. Enough with the sentimental stuff. Just move on already.
Percy watched the star.
What? I just love how serious Percy is taking his job. He's like, I'm not letting you get out of my sight.
Thank you all. Now we must hurry to Knapford.
After wasting all this time and having to pay for additional repairs, I wonder what Sir Topham Hatt is gonna say.
They arrived just in time.
Oh, no comment I see.
Thank you, Percy, Henry, Rocky, and James. I'm sorry that your wishes didn't come true.
Everything works out fine and everyone gets what they want?
I wish that we'd all be together under the Star of Knapford. So did I.
So did I.
Thomas smiled from footplate to fender, and that made Thomas happiest of all.
Check.
Hello again, I'm back. Did you guess what I was collecting? That's right, it's a Christmas tree.
So, he's allowed to say Christmas tree, but he's not allowed to say the term Christmas in general? I'd like to speak with whoever came up with these rules.
Oh, who could that be?
Jingle bells, jingle bells,
Oh, carol singers.
Hold up, other actors who aren't Mr. Perkins appearing? That never happens.
I'd join in, but I don't know the word.
Maybe if I pretend to be an idiot, they'll run away and leave me alone. I'm such a mastermind.
Oh, thank you.
Oh shoot, that didn't work.
Oh, I love carol singers, but now's not the best time. I've got a whole tree to decorate. Oh, let's get the rest of these decorations up. Oh no, not that one.
Thomas and the Snowman Party. It was a snowy winter's day on the island of Sodor. The children were busy building the biggest snowman on Sodor.
I've seen bigger.
There's going to be a snowman party, Thomas. Farmer McCall's sheepdog will hunt the hat.
The brass band will play.
And Mr. Bubbles the clown is going to do magic hat tricks.
That will be fun.
Is it just me, or does all this dialogue feel, what's the word, robotic? Literally nobody says, "That will be fun."
There is a lot to do for the snowman party. You are all to huff your hardest.
Our snowman has a carrot for a nose, coal for his eyes and mouth, and a brightly colored scarf.
Brightly colored would be a stretch. It's really hard to make anything look bright with this animation.
But he doesn't have a hat!
He sounds like he's gonna cry or something. Just sacrifice one of your own hats if you care that much.
Thomas didn't go to Knapford Station to pick up the important package. He chuffed cheerfully away to find a hat.
I'm tempted to pull out the Miller-era checklist again, but it loses its effect after the first use.
This would be a very good hat for the children's snowman. That would make them happy.
So Thomas's driver put the big brown hat into Thomas's cab.
I found a hat! I found a hat! The children will be pleased with that. This hat is even bigger than the big brown hat.
No, it isn't. It's literally smaller.
On his way to Knapford, Thomas steamed through Maithwaite Station. Suddenly he stopped. There was a very big hat, sitting on some suitcases.
I've found the biggest, brightest hat. The children will be pleased with that.
Farmer McCall has lost his big brown hat. Now his sheepdog can't hunt the hat.
The brass band haven't arrived. They're looking for the conductor's big hat.
And Mr. Bubbles has lost his blue, red, green, and purple hat. Now he can't do any magic hat tricks.
I can see where this might be an issue for the first and third groups, but I'm pretty sure you can still conduct a band without a hat. It was clever of Sharon Miller to put our weakest example in the middle of the other two. Wait, did I just compliment Sharon Miller's writing?
Cinders and ashes! I have all those hats in my cab!
Oh no, our lives of crime have finally caught up to us. Let's get out of here! No, but really, Thomas totally could have gotten away with this if he just went back to all the locations and put the hats back. I should probably commend him for being honest and owning up on the spot, but it would have been kinda difficult to explain yourself if you are Thomas in this situation. Yeah, I just kinda stole from 3 different people, but I mean, it's not like a big deal or anything. Theft happens all the time, right?
I'm sorry, sir. Your important package is still at Knapford Station. Now you don't have your package, and I have spoiled the children's fun.
Next, Thomas wished to Farmer McCall's farm. Farmer McCall and his sheepdog were looking for his big brown hat.
I find it funny how every person Thomas stole from already has a hat they could use as a substitute for the one they needed. The people of Sodor really need to learn how to adapt.
Very good, Thomas.
Sir Topham Hatt opened his important package. Inside was a brand new top hat.
All this work for that? Would it really have been that hard for Sir Topham to bring in the hat himself?
And this, children, may be just what you need.
I personally wouldn't want to touch that, but okay.
Knapford Station, engine driver's common room. Sir Topham Hatt, sir. And a good day to you too, sir. Yes, sir, I'm getting everything ready for the winter holiday. Yes, sir. We did have some carol singers, sir. Well, of course I joined in, sir. I love a good sing-song, sir.
I wouldn't exactly say that since you tried to get out of it earlier.
Good day, Sir Topham Hatt. Well, that was Sir Topham Hatt.
No kidding.
He's got some presents he wants me to wrap for the children. They're in a box under this table.
It really would be a shame if you were supposed to, I don't know, pick up the other box under the desk?
Some oily overalls. A dirty old sponge. And some smelly boots. These don't look like very exciting presents for children. Maybe I should check with Sir Topham Hatt. No. Sir Topham Hatt knows what he's doing. Sir Topham Hatt knows what he's doing. Sir Topham Hatt knows what he's doing. Knows what he's doing. Knows what he's doing. I must be really useful and do as I'm told.
Sir Topham Hatt must be a pretty intimidating figure if his workers are too afraid to speak to him.
Oh, dear. Oh, what's this? Oh, dear. Oh, no, these must be the presents for the children. I must have picked up the wrong box. I should have checked with Sir Topham Hatt. I better get these presents wrapped up quickly. Mr. Arkwright will be here soon.
Oh, well, at least he learned something.
Henry's Magic Box. The winter holidays are a very special time on Sodor. One morning, Henry was alone at Tidmouth Sheds. Henry didn't want to be alone.
Henry, I have a very special for you.
Henry gasped. This was more than he could ever have dreamed of.
Henry must have a pretty sad life if that was more than he could have ever dreamed of.
You must pick up a very special box from Brendam Docks. It's important, Henry, that you take great care of the box. I want to be proud of you.
He said that in future tense, as if he wasn't already proud of him. Which could be the case. I mean, Henry does have a bit of a disreputable past.
This box is special, Henry. You have to take special care of it.
I know, Cranky. That's why Sir Topham Hatt chose me for the job.
You know, I can really see why people don't like Henry's US voice. Carrie Shell just really doesn't do him justice here.
Please be careful with the box.
Henry was worried for his box. It stood all alone.
What does he think is gonna happen to it? It's not like it's gonna get up and walk away. Unless Tom's crew has gone from stealing hats to boxes. In that case, Henry's just being conscientious.
He saw Gordon ahead at the junction. But Henry didn't puff on to tell Gordon to be at the field at tea time. Henry was worried about his box alone in the field.
First, I must go and check that my special box is safe.
This reminds me a lot of the mental illness project I did in health class a few years back on OCD. I think the repeated checking and paranoia is what's sparking it.
Now, there were 5 Christmas trees in the field, but no box.
Fizzling fireboxes! I must find the box.
Henry steamed swiftly away.
What? Where does he think it went? Again, it's a box.
Then, Henry met Toby and James at a junction. Henry was too busy looking for the box to notice them.
I guess Henry shares the same obliviousness as Mr. Perkins.
Henry huffed hurriedly back to the field. Then his pistons almost popped.
Now there are even more Christmas trees.
You're telling me all those trees fit in that one box? A bit of a stretch, but okay, I'll buy it.
I must find it.
Henry juddered and jittered to the junction.
Sharon Miller would give Dr. Seuss a run for his money.
Henry gulped and gasped. He didn't tell Thomas and Percy to be at the field at tea time. Henry steamed sadly back to the field. Then he gasped.
No. There is no way all those trees came from that one box.
Henry, you are an old and kind engine, but you worry too much. Where do you think the forest came from?
I will not make a Lorax reference. I will not make a Lorax reference.
He really wanted to find the answer. He didn't want Sir Topham Hatt to think he was stupid. Then, the answer flew into his funnel.
The trees were in the box, sir.
That's right, Henry. You looked after the box very well. Now, go and do the rest of your job.
Yes, sir. We'll all be here at tea time.
On such a big island, is word of mouth really the best way to tell the others about this event? Like, how does Henry know where to find all these engines?
James was talking to the station master.
Would you stop showing off and pull forward, please, James?
No! Henry arrived back at Farmer McColl's field. All the other engines were there, but Sir Topham Hatt wasn't. Henry felt silly. Again. Suddenly, the Christmas trees were a forest of twinkling lights. Then, there was the greatest surprise of all. Sir Topham Hatt stepped through the trees.
Happy winter holidays!
Henry's eyes popped as wide as his wheels. This had been the best winter holiday special of all.
I don't know, that snowman party seems pretty hard to beat.
Oh. Hello, Knapford Station Engine Driver's Common Room. Sir Topham Hatt, sir. Oh, yes, sir. The presents are all wrapped, sir. Oh, yes, sir. I found them with no trouble, sir. Oh, yes, sir. I'll stand in for Mr. Arkwright, sir. I'll see what I can do, sir. Yes, Sir Topham Hatt. Good day. Well, that was Sir Topham Hatt again.
You don't need to keep telling us. We know.
Sir Topham Hatt has asked me if I will deliver the presents to the children. I'm always happy to take presents to the children. The trouble is, Sir Topham Hatt wants me to do it in a costume. Oh, what's this? Looks like a football kit. Oh, it's the middle of the winter holidays. Can't wear shorts in the middle of the winter holidays, can you? Can't wear shorts in the middle of the winter holidays. Can't wear shorts in the middle of the winter holidays. Can't wear shorts in the middle of the winter holidays.
He wrote regular lawbreaker in his book.
Oh, yes, I think this must be it. I can't tell you why. Tell me why.
Merry Misty Island.
Oh yeah, we're ending this DVD off with a bang!
The winter holidays are a very special time on the island of Sodor. There are parties and presents, trees and tinsel. There was a lot of excitement at the Sodor Search and Rescue Center. Sir Topham Hatt's office had sparkling lights.
Does he even use that office, though?
Bash, Dash, and Ferdinand puffed out of the Misty Island tunnel.
No, back.
Mind your funnels!
Jumping Joby would. What's happening?
We're getting ready for a
winter holiday
party.
What's that? Winter holiday party!
I'm toning down the winter holiday volume since it's literally said every other sentence in this episode, but only a little. There we go.
You make the place bright with streamers and lights.
You laugh and you play. You have a great day.
And you ask all your friends to the fun.
This sounds like it was rehearsed. Was this rehearsed? It sounds rehearsed.
We never had a winter holiday party on Misty Island.
Why not?
We didn't know any friends to ask to join in the fun.
I can't imagine why that is.
Bash, Dash, and Ferdinand clattered into the docks.
I'm getting ready for the winter holiday party.
Why don't we have a winter holiday party?
You don't know how to have a party.
Jeez, Cranky dishing the dirt.
We need streamers and stars. And baubles and bells.
Like those over there.
No, he didn't say that's right.
Bash was coupled to a car, and the logging locos giggled and jiggled away from the docks.
And Cranky's just okay with this, I guess? Is the docks just an unending source of Christmas decorations free to the public?
We're having a party! We'll party all night! Tell your friends to come over! Join the fun!
That's right.
No offense to the logging locos, but I don't think I'd accept their invitation. I mean, a random party in the woods with 3 engines who were shunned by their previous owners because they were deemed as too dangerous to exist in society? No thanks?
Later, old Wheezy was covered in baubles and bells.
Why is old Weasley running if he isn't being used for anything? Wasn't a big part of Misty Island Rescue that they were low on fuel and couldn't use Hee-Haw because he used too much? I'm just saying, if you let your crane run all day, you can't really complain when you find yourself in a fuel crisis.
Stay here, Ferdinand, and find us a tree!
That's important.
What should have been a simple task turns out to be a full-blown search party, either because Ferdinand is a really prestigious tree finder, or he's just an idiot. I assume it's the latter.
Until at last he came in sight of a Christmas tree that was just right.
Which copy and pasted tree is he looking at?
Percy and Toby were at Maithwaite Station.
Do you need any help?
No, thank you!
It's kinda weird how everyone's initial response to the Logging Locos party is whether or not they need help. Like, oh, silly foreigners, we feel it is our responsibility to spoon-feed any and all basic information to you because the fact that you're not from here immediately tells us you're stupid and know nothing. Tell me I'm wrong.
Hee-Haw was now covered in baubles and bells.
Now they've got Hee-Haw running? Yeah, screw global warming. Let's burn logs and coal all day and use up Earth's most limited fossil fuel. It's the 1960s. Knowledge of the world doesn't apply to us.
Here's the Christmas tree.
This is a real Charlie Brown moment.
Sir Topham Hatt and the other engines chuffed and puffed in.
Welcome to the Merry Misty...
This isn't fun at all.
I wonder where he got that attitude from.
This isn't fun, Thomas.
Thank you all for helping us. You have made this the best winter holiday party of all.
Today on the island of Sodor, we'll see what happens when Percy gets buried alive. Then we'll share some fun times with Henry. But first, Toby is about to meet his fate in a flood. Hey everyone, Dennis here. Not sure if you guys noticed, but it's kind of been a while since I last made a DVD review. All the DVDs I've already reviewed are either traumatizing or exceedingly tedious, so I think it's about time I review a DVD I actually liked. Races, Rescues, and Runaways. This DVD has always been a favorite of mine, and I'm surprised it took me this long to get around to reviewing it. Season 5 has a lot of great releases, and they each have their own mood for turn of phrase. Make Someone Happy is lighthearted and jolly, Spills and Chills is eerie, and Cranky Bugs is pretty slice of life. Races, Rescues, and Runaways, however, is all about the action. Back when I watched these, the rule of thumb was if it had crashes, it was good. If you're not a Season 5 fan, I can bet you that you'll have a stronger admiration for it by the end of this video. Let's jump into it. Races, Rescues, and Runaways is an American DVD and VHS with 6 episodes and 2 songs from Season 5. The VHS was released August 10th, 1999, and the DVD was released July 3rd, 2002. The interesting thing about Season 5 is that its purpose was to showcase David Mitten's model work to hype up the release of Thomas and the Magic Railroad. If that's what Britt Allcroft and the production team are going for, then I think they nailed it and then some. I think I speak for many when I say that Season 5 truly was the peak of Thomas and Friends. I find it so tragic that everything went downhill after this season. So tragic. Regardless, I'm dying to get into this DVD, so let's get to it. Is it weird that I always thought this was a penguin?
All aboard for excitement with everyone's #1 train, Thomas the Tank Engine.
I'm Thomas. I run this branch line.
This delightful collection of award-winning videos takes you on a magical journey around the island of Sodor.
They're not wrong.
It's an enchanting world where life is never boring and fun lies around every bend.
Yeah, looks like James is having loads of fun.
Each video contains a variety of fun-filled stories that teach the values of friendship, working together, and the importance of trust and honesty.
Well, most of the time.
Bring the fun out of the roundhouse and into your house. Add all of these titles to your Thomas collection today.
For the longest time, I thought these were 2 DVDs I never owned, since the VHS covers were different from the DVD ones.
Welcome to the Thomas and Friends DVD experience.
Remember the days people actually put effort into DVD menus?
Welcome to the island of Sodor. I'm Sir Topham Hatt, and this is Thomas. We will be your tour guides as you join Percy, James, Harold, and the rest of your Sodor friends for the exciting adventures of Races, Rescues, and Runaways.
I love how they randomly zoom in on the engines before stopping at Percy. Just choose one already.
Here we go!
Words cannot describe this nostalgia. Never gets old.
It had been raining hard for weeks. Toby was feeling miserable.
I love how this DVD isn't afraid to start off on a really depressing note. I was honestly expecting a monologue about the engines on the island of Sodor, but that's not the case here.
Percy arrived just as Toby was about to inspect the dam for any damage.
What's the point of sending Toby if Harold is already inspecting the dam? What good is Toby gonna do?
"Be brave, Toby," called his driver. "We have to cross to the other side." The dam did not look safe at all.
Then why are you crossing it?
The dam's breaking up. We must warn everyone.
No offense to Toby, but if they wanted to quickly and effectively warn the townspeople of such an event, maybe they should have sent an engine who can go faster than 30 miles per hour.
"We must find high ground," shouted Toby's driver. "Your only chance is to cross the bridge," called Percy. "Your only chance is to cross the bridge."
Your only chance is to cross the bridge. Your only chance is to cross the bridge. Your only chance is to cross the bridge.
Your only chance is to cross the bridge. It doesn't look safe to me.
I wonder how many takes it got to get that shot right. I'm hoping not many because I can't imagine how long it would take to put that back together. That's right, kids. If you're ever crossing an unstable bridge in a flood, make sure to take as long as humanly possible and stop halfway.
"Help!" called Toby.
I don't want to ruin the moment, but wouldn't Toby have just sunk?
As Toby floated helplessly on the floodwaters, they passed a sign that made them shudder. "Beware the waterfall. If we go over that waterfall, we're doomed."
That is literally the quote of my childhood. I love how this scene is almost entirely music and sound effects and devoid of any narration.
When the floods were over and the dam mended, the villagers had a big party for Toby.
Why exactly? Is it just your run-of-the-mill congratulations for not dying party?
I could never have been so brave, Toby. Oh, I'm sure you would be, but you never know till you've tried. Percy rather hoped he'd never have to. Percy puffed grumpily into the yards. He was feeling put upon and said so. "I feel put upon." Put upon what? The rails? No, put upon with work. Driver says he is too.
Well, I mean, working for the railway is kind of your job, so I don't see what you really have to complain about.
Next, he collected some empty freight cars. "Who's this dirty little engine?" cried the freight cars. "We want Thomas or Duck."
Aren't Thomas and Duck relatively the same size as Percy, though? Why do the trucks think Percy is at a lower status than them?
That night, all the engines laughed at him. "We can see what's been put upon you," said Thomas. "Silence," said Sir Topham Hatt.
I wonder what makes Alec Baldwin decide whether to say,
"Silence,"
or
"Silence!" Next morning, he took some freight cars to the coal yards. When he arrived, there was trouble. The foreman spoke to his driver. "The freight cars are stuck on the mechanism. All they need is a good push."
Scruffy?
Percy charged at the line of freight cars too fast and too hard. "Oh no!" gasped Percy.
This is what you get for asking Percy.
On! Faster, faster!" the silly freight cars yelled. Then there was trouble again.
Am I the only one who finds this a little unsettling? These trucks just got buried alive, who knows how far under the ground, with very little chance of being dug up again. I get that crashing is something the trucks enjoy doing, but this seems a little too far.
Get out of here fast! The mine's collapsing!
There's going to be an avalanche, wailed Percy.
No, Percy, don't jinx it. Dang it!
When Percy had been rescued, Sir Topham Hatt spoke to his driver and fireman, then to Percy. Driver told me how brave you were, Percy.
Yes, it was very brave of you to shove those trucks with unnecessary force and cause mass destruction to this mine.
As a reward, you will be repainted at the works. Oh, thank you, sir.
Hold up, he's getting a reward for causing an avalanche? Soda's reward system is way out of whack.
You were certainly put upon by that avalanche. Yes, indeed. But just look at my new coat of paint. Now, I don't mind that being put upon me. It was a busy time at the docks. All the engines were working hard, pushing and pulling freight cars about. These ships can't be kept waiting. They have important cargo. We've got too much work, huffed Percy. Then perhaps a lorry should do your job. Percy was shocked.
Wow, it's almost as if Cranky said that expecting for some lorries to show up. Oh wait.
Cranky was delighted. Hey, you down there! Your job's done now! These lorries are taking over!
Yes, because 3 lorries are enough to replace an entire army of steam locomotives.
One of them wants to talk to you! The lorry was very rude.
What's that steaming lump of scrap iron doing here? Oh, look, it's a little green goblin on wheels.
What exactly gives the lorries the idea that they have dominance over the engines? They're not even close to the same size and can hardly carry as much weight. Maybe they're just trying to get into the engines' heads with unbridled rudeness? The lorries really are something else.
Well, well, well. No wonder this railway's a mess. You belong in a museum.
I'll have you know that tram engine stopped some thieves from stealing King Godred's crown!
The foreman spoke to Toby's driver. I'm sorry. Times are a-changin', I'm afraid.
Oh, the times they are a-changin'.
That lorry's in trouble, thought Toby. And he was.
How does that even happen?
The driver was thrown clear. Rotten roads, he muttered.
I'm both relieved and astonished he survived that.
The wrecked lorry was taken to the docks. Percy looked at the lorry. What's this lump of steaming scrap iron? Then Butch, the breakdown vehicle, arrived. He was towing the lorry from the flour mill.
Isn't it really bizarre how Butch is faceless in this episode, but he has a face in other episodes this season? Was his face just not completed in time for the filming of this episode or something?
Not very useful now, are you? Said Toby. Grrr, replied the lorries. Then James whistled excitedly. They're bringing in the 3rd lorry on a barge. What happened to that one?
Since when can James teleport?
Well, 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 the Brothers Grimm. Smashed, broken, and sunk.
I'm still having a hard time wrapping my head around the fact that Lorry 1 is still alive. He fell off a cliff!
The lorries didn't return. And the engines now work even harder to make sure they never will. One day, George the steamroller was waiting for Percy to take him to a new workplace.
I love how Percy is already angry about having to take George before he's even done it.
You're just worn-out wheels on worn-out rails. You need rocks for your roads, replied Skarloey, and we're helping you. I need to flatten little engines in the scrapyards.
I think Season 5 wins the prize for having the most discourteous comments. George's literally firing death threats here.
The little engines were pleased to see him go.
Fun fact, Skarloey and Rheneas have extra dialogue in the UK version.
Rollers are rubbish, so good riddance, they called.
Well, I mean, if you were a UK fan, then I guess you'd already know that.
George was now enjoying himself. Ripping up rails, he chortled. What a life!
You know, it's comments like this that have me concerned about George's well-being.
I'll show him who's boss! At last, the workmen reached the level crossing. What shall we do here? Tear it up, tarmac it, said George.
Yes, let's let the sadistic steamroller who's openly expressed his hatred to the railway decide whether or not we should pave over this greatly traveled railway line. No, no you shouldn't! I really hope there weren't livestock in that barn, but the sound of squawking tells me otherwise.
Duck arrived with a train of empty freight cars. George was blocking his way, and a car was stuck on the main line. "Let me through," demanded Duck. "You'll just have to wait."
It's funny how George is literally going out of his way to make other people's lives miserable. What a character.
"I'm the greatest! Just watch me fly by!" He whistled long and loud as he approached the station. "Get out of my way!" But the freight car wouldn't move until Gordon forced it. By accident. "Whoever caused this disturbance will have me to answer to."
Well, that's something you never want to hear.
"And then you'll be just as rude as ever. Eh, George? I hope not. Don't you?"
Not really, honestly. I kinda like George's merciless outlook on life.
One day, Thomas was at the quayside of a small village. Fish were being loaded into his cars.
It's kinda contradictory how they use British words like quayside and then American terms like car shortly after. Quite strange, innit?
"I'm going to be late for Henry at the docks. He won't like this. Please hurry up." Thomas was rudely interrupted.
I semi-wonder if the workmen did that just to get Thomas to shut up. I mean, I would.
"What's the matter now?" "High tides are damaging the track," reported the man. "It would be dangerous for heavy engines like Henry," agreed the driver. "But for Thomas, it's safe enough."
Safe enough isn't gonna cut it for a railway with a terrible infrastructure-related accident record.
Henry was waiting for Thomas's cars.
The tugboat, for its size, is the most powerful craft afloat.
"Pah! You're late. That smell is making me ill." "It's the fish," replied Thomas, "and there's danger on the rails. That's why we're late." "Ha! You're the only danger on the rails, Thomas."
Why can't CGI Henry be savage as this?
"What route is Henry taking tonight?" asked the driver. "The coastal run. It's the quickest." "But I told you," gasped the driver. "That's dangerous for a big engine like Henry."
Is it just me, or are signalmen the stupidest people on Sodor?
"I can't see," cried Henry. Nor could his driver. And when he could, it was too late.
You know, it's really lucky that Henry rolled onto a sandbar and didn't tip over. I mean, Steam Team to the rescue kinda proved that engines can breathe underwater, but I'm still skeptical.
"Engines don't swim, Henry. You were meant to deliver fish, not swim with them. You should know that by now."
Why is Sir Topham Hatt mad at Henry? Shouldn't he be after the signalman who had the opportunity to prevent the entire accident but didn't?
When Henry arrived at the docks, Cranky the Crane looked down on him. My, Henry, I expect you'll have some fishy tales to tell."
That wasn't even a good joke, Cranky.
"Can you smell something?" "What?" "Fresh air." "Oh, yes," replied Henry happily.
Another fantastic ending.
Oliver and his brake van Toad liked working in the big yards.
Yep, that's the face of sheer pleasure, all right.
Excuse me, Mr. Oliver. It seems to me that things are not well with you. If you forgive me for mentioning it."
Alec Baldwin's Toad voice is literally one of my favorite things about Season 5.
"You're quite right, Toad. All I do is shunt these freight cars onto the turntable. I long for a nice run. It's what an engine really needs."
You and me both.
"Quite so, Mr. Oliver. May I suggest that you speak to Sir Topham Hatt about your problems?"
Yeah, no. If anything, Sir Topham Hatt is just gonna tell Oliver to suck it up.
You're no good, Oliver. You're dangerous.
Well, I can see why they might say that. Oliver really isn't a fan of turntables, is he?
Oliver, you have caused confusion. I thought you could control freight cars. You shall work the mail train for a while. Maybe the night air will clear your smoke box.
Since when is pulling the mail train considered to be a punishment?
His driver took them along the coastal run with the mail train. The fresh air couldn't help but brighten Oliver's spirits.
My goodness, Tom's is such a beautiful show.
Sorry I'm late, Great Western. Had a bit of a problem with one of my arms. Kept letting me down when I was meant to be up. You know how it is.
First Oliver and Toad's refined English accents, and now Harold's spot-on American one? Alec Baldwin sure is pulling out all the stops.
Oliver didn't realize that the signalman had dozed off.
In the exact same position he dozed off in when Thomas crashed 2 episodes prior?
The points before the signal box were switched to an old track. They were going the wrong way.
I have a feeling this won't end well.
Disaster lay ahead.
Wait a minute.
It wasn't Oliver's fault, sighed the driver. I'm aware of that. I'm just glad to see you are all safe.
So it's not Oliver's fault that he got diverted onto the wrong line, but it's Henry's fault he wasn't warned of the eroded track on the coast? Somebody's playing favorites.
You have found another attraction for our island. We'll make this house as good as new, and visitors can have tea and crumpets there.
That's cool and all, but it's not like this place ever appears again.
Sighed Oliver. Getting lost can be interesting, but being found is much nicer. Especially when it makes an engine feel really useful.
Yeah, but the only reason Sir Topham Hatt isn't yelling at you is because he now has an excuse to have tea and crumpets. Before the credits, we're given 2 amazing songs from Season 5 to round off the disc. Come for the Ride and Accidents Will Happen. The one that plays first is Come for the Ride, which is honestly my favorite to listen to, but only by a little. My favorite Thomas songs are always the ones that are the most upbeat and fast-paced, so this really isn't much of a surprise. I'd also like to point out how many different episodes they used to make this. Compare that to recent music videos. Ouch. After Come for the Ride comes Accidents Will Happen. What better way to end a DVD about trains crashing with a song that has even more trains crashing? This song is literally the most perfect ending to this DVD. Well then, do I recommend this DVD? Is that even a question? Yes, 100 times yes. I loved this DVD to pieces as a kid, and now that I've gone back to analyze it, I think I appreciate it even more. Absolutely everything about these episodes is incredible, and the fact that it still resonates with me today goes to show how great of an impact it's had. Unfortunately, not everyone feels the same way. I was reading some reviews of it on Amazon just for the heck of it, and some of these are rather interesting to say the least. Here's my favorite.
Seems awfully dark in nature for a young child. I can't say that we watched any of the clips all the way through. We kept fast forwarding to find a better episode, but we finally gave up. Dwelling on destruction does not deepen a young child's understanding of how to make sense of the world. My 2-year-old grandson was enthralled while watching, but not in a good way. After just a few minutes, I declared this a bad video because Thomas's friends were not nice at all.
But most of them thought it was good, so majority rules. Well, that's all for today, guys. Let me know what you thought of this DVD in the comments. Stay safe, Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you next time.